Hello, and welcome to Penn State Sports Night. I'm your host, Mike Luttenberger, and with me today is Hunter Pitcoff and Sommer Thomas. Today we will be evaluating the stock of quarterbacks from the past 3 weeks and determining whose stock is on the rise and whose stock you should end up selling. With that being said, Hunter, who do you have on the rise?
Appreciate it, Mike. A guy who I have on the rise is Mr. Heisman himself, Joe Burrow. I mean, obviously, look, the Bengals suck. They're not going to win a lot of games. I'm not concerned about the win-loss record, but he has looked better and better every single game he's played in. At first, he was not really trusting his instincts. He was running around a little too much. I get he's pretty athletic, but that's not his game. Now he looks much more composed in the pocket. He's going through his reads, and as a result, he looks much more comfortable, much better in that offense. I think Cincinnati is, got big smiles on right now because I think they are happy that they found their future franchise quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely right. He definitely took a game or two to really get into a good groove, but now he's there. He actually has, at 91 completions so far this season, he has the most completions by a rookie in their first 3 games in NFL history. So this is a great sign for the Bengals with Joe Burrow. He was sacked 8 times this past week, so obviously the offensive line needs to be addressed if Joe Burrow is going to have a really impactful year.
Joe Burrow has been impressive to start the season. Sommer, who's someone you have your eye on?
I have my eye on Cam Newton now. For a lot of people, this is a surprise because the Patriots picked him up for only $1.75 million. And included in quarterbacks that are being paid more than him are backups Matt Schaub, Colt McCoy, and Matt Barkley. So if that's any indication of how much of a steal the Patriots got, it should be that. He has been great on the ground. Like, his legs are still moving. It's like he's a rookie again. He's had a great impact so far for the Patriots offense. And I really think that a lot of people didn't expect the Patriots to do very well this season now that Tom Brady's gone. But I think that Cam Newton is meeting expectations and exceeding expectations enough to get the Patriots that division win this year. And I guess keep the dynasty going even though it's almost over.
I mean, did anyone really think Jarrett Stidham was the franchise quarterback? Get out of here. I mean, the Patriots, like you said, Sommer, this is a steal of all steals. They should be charged with robbery at this point. I mean, God, the robbery gate, if you will, for New England. But I look at Cam Newton here. We always know he's athletic, and we saw that throughout all 3 games. But he's really starting to trust his arm again. He had shoulder surgery, and that's kind of what ended his career in Carolina, if you will. Now he's fully healthy. He's letting that ball sling. We saw Julian Edelman have a career high in receiving yards, and that's with Cam Newton, not Tom Brady as his quarterback. Josh McDaniels, he's rubbing his hands together because he knows that he can open up this playbook and do a lot more things that, he couldn't do with Tom Brady. So Cam Newton, like you said, off to a great start.
Yeah, you're definitely right about his arm. He's really, really confident with his arm right now, and I would say that was his downfall in Carolina. And now that he really is comfortable passing in the pocket and he's been more accurate this season, I think, people got to watch out for Cam Newton.
Newton has shown flashes of his MVP season, but to turn things around, Hunter, tell me someone's stock you're not investing in.
Yeah, Carson Wentz sucks. Basically, I mean, this guy has been god-awful so far. Eagles why did we pay him all this money? But hashtag bring in Hurts, I guess, because that guy's sitting on the bench, 2nd-round draft pick, and maybe he enters the game a little more earlier than we think. But anyways, though, Carson Wentz, 6 interceptions. That's not good. Completing under 60% of his passes as well. And just watching him play, looking at the eye test, he is missing wide-open receivers. He's trying to do too much out there. I get he doesn't have as much help as he's had in years past, but Carson Wentz, you're getting paid all this money. You got to be better.
I completely agree. He has the worst passer rating in the NFL right now at about 63, which is really, really bad. So, of course, some of that can be attributed to maybe not having very elite receivers on the field. A lot of his receivers and running backs are injured, and their offensive line is mediocre at best. They really haven't done well. He's been sacked 11 times in 3 games. So, again, just like with the Bengals, they really have to improve that offensive line if they want his play to improve. But the difference between Carson Wentz and Joe Burrow here is Joe Burrow has that natural talent, and he's franchise quarterback material. Carson Wentz is not showing that despite the fact that he doesn't have a good team around him, same thing as Joe Burrow.
Eagles must be wondering what it would be like for Nick Foles if he was still around. But to turn to a worse situation, Sommer, who do you have for me?
All right, I appreciate that you said it's the worst situation because you're not wrong. Sam Darnold is having the worst season so far of his 3-year career. And I would say a lot of that has to do with their horrible head coach, Adam Gase, who the general manager and the owner of the organization were advocating for Adam Gase over and over and over again, despite the fact that his play calling is unoriginal and he does not know how to inspire his team. That being said, it cannot all be blamed on Adam Gase. As you can see, he has 3 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, so more interceptions than touchdowns. That's a problem. It's the beginning of the season. It shouldn't be that way already. And also, he threw 2 pick sixes last week and then 1 other interception. That's just not going to cut it. The Colts are not a good enough team for Sam Darnold to be failing like that, and the Jets spent way too much money on that offensive line for Sam Darnold to still be playing this way. Of course, he's been dealing with plenty of injuries in the receiving core. A week or 2 ago, there were only 2 active, healthy receivers by the end of the game. That's how many people were taken out by the turf on their field. So things are not looking good for the Jets. And a lot of people are wondering, are the Jets going to tank for Trevor Lawrence? Is this Sam Darnold's last year in New York? We don't know yet. It all depends on how things go.
Yeah, I'm going to feed off that last point, Summer. I mean, Sam Darnold does not have a lot of help here, but he's got to be better nevertheless. They took this guy, technically trading up for him with that number 3 overall pick. Hasn't been that great. And I think if you're the Jets, unfortunately, you have to start asking yourself, Sam Darnold's come up on a contract extension. Do you re-sign him? Do you give him the money he wants? Or do you tank for Trevor? Do you fail for Fields? Or even just terrible for Trey? It could be any of those things, right? But the Jets, they have failed Sam Darnold in the sense of not giving him the talent he needs on the offense. That defense isn't very good either. No offense, Summer, but the Jets are just a terrible organization. Sometimes quarterbacks just left to die there.
Yeah, not looking good for the Jets. And to add another thing, there is still fire Adam Gase chants at an away game in a near-empty stadium. Well, that'll do it for us here at Penn State Sports Night. For Hunter Pitcoff and Sommer Thomas, I'm Mike Luttenberger, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you for watching our latest edition of Penn State Sports Night. If you're a fan of our content, please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more clips. Also follow us on Twitter at PSSN TV and on Instagram at PSU Sports Night to keep up with the action. For all my colleagues, we are Penn State Sports Night.